to help, for example, the research coordinators. If they are here, they should stand up to give an applause. The people who help them for giving us all this information. The people who bring the documentation of these days, blogging announcements, all the wonderful photos we do these days, the logistics, and of course the disaster safe team. So if you are one of the volunteers, please stand up so that we will. Come on, nothing to be done if we were not here today. So, one big applause to our speakers who shared their knowledge during these sessions. And of course, to all of you that all these 3 days will be participating in bug fixing, in new features, and we are looking forward to see the code you created during these 3 days. Thank you very much. From the Greek point of view, we want to really thank the organizers, the international organizers, who chose Athens for this event this year, and all the effort they did. I know that some of these people slept maybe very few hours to make this event happen. So a big thank you from the Greek community for this.
Thank you so much. All right, so a few words now about what's happening next for you. So one thing that we all care about, of course, is documentation. There is a dedicated page to this on Wiki that you can find, and you can add there, of course, projects that you've been. You can also continue adding updates on fabricated tasks that are related to this. If you took pictures or if you presented something during a hackathon, please add your pictures and slides in related tickets so they can be found easily by other people. If you feel like writing a blog post about your experience at a hackathon or about a specific aspect of something that we've been working on, feel free to write a blog post and also add a link to the same picture page. And yeah. Some of us have been taking sessions on Etherpad, but Etherpad only stay for a certain amount of time, so in order to keep the content forever, please notes to the related fabricated tasks of each session. Now, what we also care about very much is the experience of participants at the event, and we'd love to understand how this event was for you, and then also how it would be improved for future editions. So there is a little survey you can fill in. The link is here, which you will also find directly in your mailbox, and that email that we sent you. It takes only a few minutes to fill in. You can fill it in until May 1st, the end of the month. And it would be really amazing if as many people as possible who take some time to give their feedback. So before we go on with the exact showcase, I want to give you a bit about what's happening next. So until maximum 4:30, we will be here for the showcase that is recorded and and then after that, I'd like to invite you all to our finishing closing dinner. We're going to leave this venue here and not going to come back. So we ask you please to make that you took all of your belongings with you, your backpack, your laptop, all of your technical equipment, your clothes, whatever. And we're all going to try to be out in this space by 5 p.m. After that, we're going to join for this drinks and dinner on the rooftop of the Brown Alcohol Hotel. I also put the address and link in the email. Just so you know, people who at the lighthouse or the hotel, it's not the same, but it's just in front of it, in front of the other side of the roundabout, basically. And don't forget to take your badge and your drink tickets, because this is how you're going to get access to food and drinks. That was all for me for now. Thanks again to you all, and you are just the show.
Thank you, Leah. Nestlehon and I, we will be facilitating the showcase. Thank you everyone, about 25 people filled out the Etherpad with your proposal for the, or with your submission for the showcase. Everyone will have about 2 minutes. We're well within time, so you are at this time allowed to go over a bit. Once you reach 2.5 to 3 minutes, I'll let you know that it's time to wrap up. If we have time after everyone who has submitted their talk, then we will maybe do an experiment, and I will explain to that, something about that later. It's a big surprise to Leah and to everyone else too, but I know about it, so that's important. Right, without further ado, Nestlehon will make sure that everyone who presents is in one of the hot seats beforehand. You will have your own microphone. It's important to not speak in a microphone. But keep it a little bit below your head and don't speak too quickly, because once you utter too many words every second, then people in the room will not be able to hear you too well. Everyone
So this is like a simple algorithm component, which you can expand and plus you can stack multiple algorithms on each other. You can have different functionalities. You can connect to some logical functions to pass as they cross. You can also put different IDs inside the algorithm header, and you can set them to be visible all the time. You can put also anything you want inside the algorithm content, because it's operator installed, so everybody's code will be displayed. And also it's accessible because right now all of the navigation is done via keyboard and enter/space buttons. So yeah. So I think that's it. Thank you.
And we are waiting Simon 04 and John, if possible, for next. Yeah.
Hello. I've got a friend who's just called Ali. I hope may help people to keep their noses down. So, I did some improvements on a tool that I made a couple of years ago called Depictor. And Depictor, I made a video of it. So, for those of you who don't know Depictor yet, it is a tool that, just see if I can make this a little bit bigger than just this really, really small way. Here we go. So, structured data comments is a way to add metadata to your files and comments. But there's a problem. We have many categories of comments, and those tend to be linked to Wikidata items. So here, for example, we have the famous Greek singer Davis Roussos. He has a Wikidata item, it's linked to his category, but you would say, why not add this Wikidata item as a structured data statement to every single image on this page? But there's a problem. This is a picture of Davis Roussos. There's not a picture of depicting Davis Roussos, but of a cassette tape. So, to solve the problem, I made this tool a couple of years ago called Depictor, and it's a way to add structured data statements to images using your OAuth account. So what you do, you log in like this, you find a challenge, like the big GT challenge, you say start, and then you only need to do one thing. You need to figure out if something is depicting something else. So in this case, it's fetching some cheeses for you. Is this the same kind of varying cheese specialty? I can say, I'm going to say yes. Is it the same thing? I'm going to say yes. Also works very well on mobile. And because it's linked using OAuth, this will automatically make every single edit on your Wikimedia Commons user account. So if you refresh your edits here, you can see the edits are immediately made. So the thing I did the last couple of days is I made it a lot faster, because someone remarked it was a little bit slow. So I'm now preloading many of these images. As you can see now, it should be maybe 4 or 5 times faster than it used to. So that means even more depicting. So one other thing I'm working on, but isn't finished yet, is I got this wonderful database from Matthias Mulli from the Wikimedia Foundation of entity images suggestions, which is like, I think, millions of possible combinations of media files and Wikidata items. So at some point in the future, this will be a part of Depictor as well, and you can add those as well. And you can depict more. And there's also reports. I have one user from Poland called Piotr who has made more than 500,000 of the million edits using Depictor, so that's quite something. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Mate can line up.
Hello. I've been working on multimedia viewer, and I tackled it to modernize its code base. Basically, I've been working on 2 bigger chunks of work. The first was to get rid of the global classes and global variables assigned within the code base by moving to package files, and to see how that ended up, I'd like to show a diff image. So previously there were very many variables and class constructors called using mw.mmb.prototype provider UI whatnot, and fonts, LED, string templates, and this all ended up in a super terrifying patch modifying about 9,000 lines of code. But like in the end, we get rid of OO inherit class throughout the whole code base. Basically, more or less no prototype occurrences are left in the code. And once this patch is merged, the code is a bit more modern than it used to be before. Thank you.
It's in Greek, give me a moment while I find the correct buttons. Okay. Alright, so I decided to experiment with using MCR multiple contributions for a bit more purposes. It is from one, but it is underutilized and it could be actually used to better organize content. So I did two things. I explored whether it is possible to store template data in a JSON slot instead of just on the wiki page in the wiki text directly. So in the proof of concept, you can still edit the template data directly through the GUI, and the template data parser no longer stores the JSON. It's just an anchor that renders the template data documentation for you. And the second thing that I explored is whether it can be possible to edit multiple content slots in a single edit page. And this proof of concept is between them without requiring JavaScript. It kind of shows that it's possible, but it doesn't do many things like edit conflicts. So let's look at what it actually looks like in practice. So first we have the template data stored in a dedicated slot. And yeah, so you can see you have the template data graphical editor. I can update the description. And this is the same for I can apply, but then it's immediately saved, and if I go back to the page, I can see that the description has already been applied, and if I go to the page history, I can see that the wiki text didn't change, it was only the template data content as JSON that changed in itself. And as for and the second part was editing multiple content slots in a single edit page, which looks somewhat like this. So you can see that I'm editing the content. I'm switching to the second slot. I can change that. I can switch back to the first one, which remembers the changes that I made. I can switch back again. And then eventually I decide to find the same page. And it has the updated content. And you can see that both slots were updated in a single edit. So, yeah, their patches are on Garrett in case somebody is interested. It's of course very basic proof of concept, but in the last slide, if I am able to get out of this, you can find the links to those Garrett patches. And that's it from me.
Lineal and Gopa, line up, please.
Hello. I've got an existing tool for linking OpenStreetMap and Wikidata. So just quickly show you my tool. Take a little while. So this is looking up where we are, taking up an office, and it shows us some pins, and scroll down and see a picture, and it's showing the match. So this tool adds Wikidata tags to OpenStreetMap, but it would be nice if we could go in the opposite direction. Like, can we add OpenStreetMap IDs to Wikidata? There's a new property in Wikidata, OpenStreetMap ID. So it's only 2 months old, can I populate those? So I write a Spark query to find all the OpenStreetMap tags that Wikidata knows about. And it finds 3,000 So there's some OpenStreetMap tags related to Greek. So then I looked at those OpenStreetMap tags in OpenStreetMap, and I found a bunch of things that had Wikidata tags and those tags. Like I found 168 chapels that match my criteria, and then I've just been testing adding those with quick statements. So I added drinking fountains. I've edited 428 items that are drinking fountains on Wikidata. Here is a drinking fountain. Let's scroll down to a picture of it, and you can see it's got the OpenStreetMap node ID. So I need to, make this work better. This is just a proof of concept, and I'll sign up for a bot account on Wikidata, and I'll add a bunch more OpenStreetMap IDs to Wikidata.
Like you know, just like you might already know, something is happening. Okay, I don't have this long enough. Okay, there's in MediaWiki there's this hidden feature. Maybe some of you already know, where you can use the editor with multiple people at the same time, like but in MediaWiki, which is really nice, but it's not so easy to install. So you need some server access, do some magic there. So we thought it might be nice to have a central place where everybody could just use this tool. And for this, it would be necessary that you could also import wiki pages from so that's what we try to do. And some reading paths and also make about testing in the Ethernet. That's really quick. It just adds a link to the wiki page and it appears magically in the editor. And then also on the next screencast you can see how this would look like multiple people would be added at the same time, just placed beside each other. Visualize how this is looking. And then also you would need to leave this area again afterwards to put the output of your editing session into Wiki, and you could click the export button, and then some magic happens, Wiki text appears, and we also connect it directly to the page here. This is not completely working with some formatting issues, but there's always the next hackathon, right?
And Alberto to line up, please.
Hi everyone. So this is a tool which we created a couple of years before, and this tool is for editing the videos which are there already there in the Wikimedia Commons. Also, this tool supports the users to upload the videos from their mobile and edit it and directly upload to the Commons. Even if the video is not Commons supported format, if it is MP4 or any other extension, this tool automatically converts into the Commons supported language format and then uploads the video. Now, this is as simple as uploading the videos as Instagram stories. Just a few clicks in the mobile, upload to the Commons. In this hackathon, this tool was initially developed with the technologies like React, JS for the front end, Node.js for the back end, and MongoDB for the DB. Now we migrated from the MongoDB to the Postgres because it's not open source supported thing. So, yeah. Try to play around the tool and then provide a feedback. Thank you.
And Dimitros, please come next to me.
So,
when we try a central user ID, but right now you cannot do the inverse. Like you can provide the global ID that now the outreach dashboard provide in the CSV file of the members of a contest. But you cannot retrieve the local ID on a week of that user. But now it will be deployed next week. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we are the team from the Union University. We would like to present a little tool that we made for this hackathon, and we need to hackathons to come. I'm Dimitrios Rikasos, so welcome. This is Spiros Kokotos, a student volunteer, and he is the first time that he's exposed to such an environment, giving sort of presentations, so here's the cards. Now, our goal as a university here was to integrate with the community, get inspiration, cultivate cooperations, and support and give some feedback. The three first points we did, we believe, very well. We're here to cooperate more with Wikimedia Foundation and volunteers. We'll leave back a tool that we have built specifically for the announcements.
Thank you. I'm Spiros, and we have implemented a bot that sends automated messages containing the respective sessions of the conference, including the date, time, and corresponding room of the group chat of our conference on Telegram. Specifically, we utilize the Python programming language, a YAML file that includes the entire program of the hackathon, and GitHub actions which trigger the corresponding event. Furthermore, detailed instructions are included in the fabricator. Additionally, a task we support is blogging, and we invite all of you to contribute your experiences. There is a specific repository on GitHub, and this is deployed in GitHub Pages. To submit your own text, simply write a simple markdown file based on the provided template and send it to us through any means, such as Telegram, email, or even a simple pull request on the repository. That's it. Thank you very much for your time and your attention.
And Amir and Bubbles, please line up.
Hello, I'm Ashik, and what I worked on this weekend was this tool. The idea is to show gender gap on different timescales and different wikis. All I got back though was Portuguese Wikipedia, and it's kind of getting data for the other wikis as well. And you can kind of see that we have a pretty bad gender gap, as most people probably know. This is set from the user properties table, and it's just getting the top 1,000 editors for each month in this case, and then just cross-referencing with the gender with a query that would get it from the revisions table, and that's what I worked on.
Hello. Let me see. Okay. As I explained to you people previously, the way that we handle spam in Wikipedia is through this page that any admin can edit. It's called Spam Blacklist, and it's a page of 600 regexes and that are run in every edit, and they're quite slow. And most admins cannot edit it because they do not understand regex, and you cannot search in it. It doesn't have any place that you can add notes. And most of them do not need to be regexes because they are like simple domains and just escape the data, whatever. That's how it is, it seems. And also, like, I love this that do not modify this list unless you have a basic understanding of regex. It probably means someone accidentally blocked anyone from editing Wikipedia. So what I did is haven't pushed it to get it yet, but it's a page that if you're, I don't know if you can see it, not that like that, but yeah, anyway, you go have a special page, and then the special page, if you're not logged in, it will show you the domain and the reason that has been blocked. But if you're an admin and you have access to actually edit it shows you a place that you can add a domain that you can ban, and then notes, and add the notes, and then you store it, and it will be banned from editing and being added to Wikipedia, and wouldn't be a horrible set of regexes that you need to maintain forever. That's it. That's all I did. I will push it to production maybe next couple of months. On top of that, we also changed the default skin of MediaWiki from the old vector to the new vector, so our tests are now actually running on the new vector. That's it.
Alexei and Diego, line up, please.
Hello, everyone. As you know, MediaWiki is very good for writing text, but there's not great for interactive content, which is something people have talked about now over the years. During the hackathon, and a little before that, I thought it'd be interesting to see. We've had great luck with some 100 templates. What if we could make it so it works interactively for the user? Unfortunately, I might be experiencing the demo effect here as something is loaded on this page. So, use your imagination. But essentially, the idea is you could write templates that interact with the user to kind of like extend interactivity and have kind of user-created animations or whatever they want to do. I think it would be a cool idea. Well, thank you.
We are looking for the next speakers. Alexei, that's you.
So, hi guys, everybody. My name is Alexei at DTR. We were working on creating some automated summaries for article pages and discussion pages. The idea came from a satellite event in Sweden. The initial motivation was to support readability and accessibility for people who have trouble reading long text. So we ended up doing something which can be demoed. So let's see. Okay, wait. So we have that nice button there, and it talks to ChatGPT and sends the whole section and creates a summary. It can also be used on talk pages. TTR helped us write some amazing API parsing to get all the replies. And the summaries actually have the names also. So you can, if one user is repeatedly saying something, ChatGPT can dig it up. So, and summarize it.
Thank you.
Lucas and David, line up please.
Okay, well, hello everyone. Let me see how I can get out of here. Okay. So, this is just very small and also very, so still a prototype, like a proof of concept. It was built on a project by the INUCA, am I saying that right, team? And we have Eduardo here. This is, the project is called Wikimedia Preview. With Wikipedia Preview, what you can do is you can be on whatever web page, and if you hover over a link that goes to Wikipedia, then a Wikipedia article preview will appear. This is not my work, this is the work of INUCA's team. But the way how it was thought is it let or relied on web page owners that they would include a script so this could happen. So what I implemented here is I created a bookmarklet that you can add to your bookmark bar, or also a user script that you can install using a user script manager, so that it is you who decides on which pages you want this to be enabled. So in this repository, you have instructions to create the bookmarklet, you also have instructions to install the user script, and eventually the idea is that we will have an extension as well, which will make it easier for installation. Well, so that's it. Thank you.
Alright, hello. I did lots of random stuff at the hackathon, but the one thing I wanted to show off was a change I'm proposing to the web service command. So right now when you restart a web service, so you're restarting a tool in ToolForge to pick up a new source code version, what happens is it kills the currently running container where the tool runs, and then it waits until Kubernetes has brought back up a new container. So there is definitely going to be some downtime between that, which I don't really like. And it would be much nicer if we could tell Kubernetes to bring up a new container first, and then wait for that to be ready, and only then turn off the old container. And so I implemented that. There's a patch linked to Garrett, and we can also see a screenshot here. I'm not sure if this will be readable, but you can see one container for a while, then it's creating a second one while the first one is still running. Then the second one is running, and now it's terminating the first container, and then only the second container is left running, and the first one is completely gone. And the best thing is that if you look at Garrett, this actually, one second, this removes more lines of code than it adds, even if you ignore the tests, so that's really nice. Yeah, that's it.
John and Barbara, line up please.
Okay, so obviously you all love visual editing. Yeah. Maybe if you go to the screen, sorry, the camera is right there. Okay. Sorry, that took a moment. Actually, notice. So, visual editor has loads and loads of tools, but you might have a hard time finding them, remember what they are. So we've added a lovely little command palette. If you go to visual editor and hit backspace, it will pop up. And it will have a complete list of all the tools, and you can start typing, and it will filter them down. So you don't have to do these things like remember what the keyboard shortcut cite things is, or how to find the category dialog, or even where the big blue publish changes button is, because you can do all of these things through that now. As we can see there. Someday you might even need to use a mouse.
Alright, so a while ago I made this gadget in MediaWiki to keep
keep terminology consistent within the language, because sometimes translators don't know what terms to use in their own language for something they're unfamiliar with. And what it does is that it, well, basically marks words like this. So you can cover it and see what the translation is. And you can also cover unmarked words to add new terms. And what I've been doing here is that I've fixed a bug that I noticed last week that made it possible for users to break the entire translation interface when they did something wrong. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'm Barbara. I'm from the design system team, and I have been redesigning the notifications page and the notifications pop-up with some for design system components. So this is the page. Sorry, I have a user. So this is the new page. Components created in Codex. Here we are using a batch group from Codex. This is, I have redesigned a bit the interface, the page, moving both options, the preference and mark all as free. Here with two separate buttons, and here in the left panel we are going to use the new menu item created in Codex. So all this panel is better organized with more padding. Also, we have a divider to separate more each section. And using the menu item, I'm using the start icon property to indicate the wiki of each section. And then sorry, I cannot go to the page, but they can explain. If you can open the Figma link, you will view that we have redesigned the page and also the pop-up where the different pieces appear. And yeah, I have used a thumbnail instead of the big icon. Yeah, I have used the thumbnail and also I have created a custom component in this case to implement the notifications page. And yeah, we have replaced the buttons that are currently in the notifications on top with some things. The Figma link. You will view the implementation because we are going to implement the page. So, yeah. And also you can open the link if you have the document, and you will view all the prototypes. I have prepared the desktop version and also the mobile one. And I have prepared two options. One based on the same as we have now in production, but using the Codex components. And another version making some improvements like instead of using icons, using thumbnails, so the user can view visual reference of the notifications that they are reading. So, for example, if you are receiving a notification that someone made a comment in a page, you will view the thumbnail with this page. And also organizing all the notifications in the pop-up and organizing them from newest to last.
Barbara has wonderful designs, although not as many of them as we would have liked. Moriel and I took a stab at implementing that stuff. So, oof, this looks pretty bad at a small screen. Let's make the font size smaller. So this is our attempt at implementing some of this new design. This is all using Vue and Codex. The existing Echo interface is all built in OUI. As you can see, we still have some work to do because these items need to be clickable. There's not multi-wiki support yet. But we've come a long way in implementing re-implementing most of the existing special page using Vue and Codex components, which has been very fun.
Yeah, Kira.
And Valerio and Amir, line up, please.
So, Jim Brown died recently, and with my tool, you can new Q5. Demo. Tool Forge. You can add more pretty references to Wikidata, because when you put in this URL, it's going to do a Cytoid API query now in order to retrieve the metadata. And you can also say that it's Thursday that Jim Brown died, and then there will now be, as you can see, I can select Jim Brown, and if I run my script, this is a quick statement that has not only the title, publication date, retrieve date, and URL, but also CNN.com as its publisher. And it has calculated the date of death based on the how long ago Thursday was, based relative to the date of publication of that reference. It's not just for this. I started this project to add obituary information, but since the hackathon, you can also cite a reference that adds a date of birth based on the age of an individual relative to the date of publication. It can also calculate the approximate date of birth based on the date of death and the age. And as you can use that for new items, but as you saw, you can it tries to find people that are already in Wikidata and then select that one. So, and it fits for mobile. It's very responsive.
Hi. How to close this? Is it Google Chrome? Really? Okay. Again, is Fabricator dead? Yes. Is Fabricator live again? Yes. So we worked hard this weekend. Thanks also to Andre. Thank you, Andre, to do a lot of patches in Fabricator to fix a lot of stuff. Oh, sorry, not Andre. To fix a lot of stuff, and we discovered a lot of new friends in this path, and so thanks to all the administrators of the new instance of Forge, that is the fork of Fabricator. We have 10 administrators, 7 administrators, 12 blessed committers instead of just 3 in the upstream Fabricator. And so we discovered a lot of weird things in this weekend, like there is the command line of Fabricator that
does some stuff, but it has also a feature to play Arkanoid. We don't know how. It's in PHP, and it also has a kind of interactive fiction to inspect your repository, like you stand in the middle of the forest looking for the commits. It is totally weird, and we discovered also that if on Wikimedia Fabricator you do this comment, like, hey, this template doesn't work. On Wikimedia Fabricator explodes, giving this weird error. We discovered why, because Fabricator has this syntax to spawn weird stuff and calls, and I don't know. And it also has many other features to stop your commits with very weird shards, I don't know. And also it is a way to spawn memes, and how many seconds? Okay, and so the community can upload the memes in public domain and generates the memes, I don't know. Also for code review, if you write, it seems good to me. Most of the time you spawn stuff like this. What else? We don't know. Nothing of this stuff is documented, so we discovered that in these days. So feel free to dig together Forge, and thank you for hacking this awesome software.
TGR and Andrew, line up please.
Where is Etherpad? Oh, this is hello. So, hi, my name is Amir Aroni. You may have heard of Wikistats. This is Wikimedia's tool for showing statistics about reading and editing. On our project, it's really cool that this is translated to Greek. It automatically shows in Greek. If you scroll all the way down, then you can select your language. Now, unfortunately, I translated this tool, the user interface of this tool, into Hebrew something like 2 years ago, but it's not in the list yet. Because it was programmed without support for right-left languages. So the developers didn't want to add Hebrew if the tool generally doesn't support right-left languages. So me and my colleague Nick, who unfortunately had to leave, so I'm doing this on his behalf, we fixed it, and now it works in right-left languages. I cannot show you because it's not deployed yet, but here's a screenshot, and this is how it will look. How many of you know Hebrew? Like 2 people here, maybe? So anyway, it works. It was relatively simple. It's waiting for review, and yeah, that's it. It will also allow using this in Arabic and a few other right-left languages. Russian was also not added for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we fixed that too, and that's it.
Hi. If you have used a chat room like the one that we have for the hackathon, then you might have seen that it's split between multiple systems, Matrix, IRC, Telegram, and everything that's sent through between those gets converted to plain text. That's not great. So we have been looking into alternative bridges, alternative translator tools for preserving the rich text of the message. This was documentation only work, so we basically came up with a step-by-step guide of what are the things you want to test to check bridge quality, like generate a certain type of message, see how it looks on the other end. So we came up with a template that makes it easy for people to do this kind of evaluation. We did this evaluation for 2 bridge tools, but the bridge turned out to be pretty bad. And there is a third tool which looks more promising, but we didn't get around to that. So setting up and testing that is left for the future.
This is basically the bridge between Matrix and Telegram already exists, but it's poor. This is already better. We think that we can even improve it even further. So look for news soon in this part.
Chandlers and Wilders, line up please next to me.
All right, hi, I'm Andrew Lee. This is a project about a point-and-click, no-code way to generate Wikidata query visualizations. Wow, some people are applauding already. The promise of open access we sell to museums and libraries is upload your content. Wonderful things will happen. But then what happens is to create beautiful things like this, to give insights to the data, you really do need to know a lot about code and Sparkle and a lot of what we do with modeling and Wikidata and a lot of community norms. So it's not easy to actually get access to that data. These GLAM institutions have spent so much time uploading. So the challenge is, how might we allow ordinary users to create interactive Wikidata query visualizations without any Sparkle knowledge? So not this, but maybe this. So something that's much simpler, point and click. We can preload certain things that we know they're looking for. So this is the interface that I prototyped, and if this plays correctly in a second, this is what it looks like filled out. You can actually point and click to things like paintings, artists, depiction, institutions. Some of you may know that the Sum of All Paintings project is very active. It's enriched Wikidata to be one of the most complete data sets out there, so we use that as a test bed. So this is showing you the video of this playing. Oops. So as this loads, you'll see that this is actually running in pause, so you can actually just run it inside your own Python environment in pause, and you can actually add and remove columns here dynamically. So this adds another chunk of Sparkle code each time you do this, but you don't have to know Sparkle. And you can say, I want to look at paintings, and I care about the artist Edgar Degas, and I don't care about the institution, but I'm interested in what depictions are in those paintings. And by clicking on these different things, you can filter, you can cluster, you can filter and cluster, and come up with visualizations based on that. And the nice thing is that after you click on it, and then you click on live mode or live view mode, every time you click, it automatically generates the graph. So you can browse things very, very quickly this way without having to munge the code, hit return, munge the code, hit return. So I'm gonna put it on GitHub soon for you folks to try out, but I think it's a really nice interface to give to average GLAM professionals or the average user just to browse our data sets much faster. And I hope. Go next. So yeah, Fabricator ticket is there, GitHub is pending. Love to hear about use cases or feedback on this. And I just want to close, make sure people know about Effie Kapsalis. She's one of the pioneers in GLAM Wiki. She passed away this past year, and she's proudly Greek, so she'd be thrilled to see all this happening here in Athens, Greece. All right, thanks everyone.
Yes, okay. So the IP masking project is going to remove IP addresses from anonymous users. Instead, they're going to get a temporary account which is going to persist across IP addresses. Trusted users will be able to see the IP addresses of temporary accounts, but it still disrupts their anti-vandalism workflows because
because they're currently used to being able to enter an IP address or an IP range in a tool or something and see what edits have been done. So we have started hacking together a tool to allow them to do this. So you'll obviously need to log in as a trusted user, enter an IP address, and then you'll get to see all the temporary accounts you've been edited from the IP address. These names are the names of temporary accounts. And as well as just entering a single IP address, you can also enter an IP range and see all the different temporary accounts that have edited as well. So this is very work in progress. The code needs a lot of cleanup, and we're just currently working on one local wiki, and we're looking into ways to make it global too.
Sorry about the background.
Costa and Jay Prakash, come next to me, please.
Right, so I know this hackathon was geared more towards established technical contributors, but even then there are some people who are more newer to the community, and I don't know about you, but at least ever since I stopped being a student, my contributions to MediaWiki have been mostly in the hackathon, so I'm pretty much in the feet of a newcomer every time I come. One of the things I have been trying to do is improve the documentation for the beginning steps. So, for example, installing MediaWiki, instead of going through the web interface, there's the install.php script, but it's a bit neglected and some of the options were not very useful. So I had this patch open from the 2014 hackathon, and it was finally merged. Thank you. The only thing it does is set a saner default for one of the options that is for the command, so that you don't have to specify all the options. It makes it a bit easier to use this tool. I have a couple other patches that edit the error messages that appear to make them a bit more readable and more helpful, linked to documentation that was not linked. And also I made several edits to the documentation of various pages related to the installation. So some of them were updated, some of them had like incorrect information. So I updated a lot of these information in documentation. So hopefully the experience for other newcomers, including me in the future hackathon, will be better.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Costa, this is Jan, and together we worked on a project called MediaWiki Metal, which is a command line application in PHP for managing a MediaWiki install on bare metal. So there's a few assumptions in this project. One is that it's still too hard to get a local development environment set up for MediaWiki. The second assumption is that it's relatively easy to install PHP, MySQL, and Apache with Homebrew or with apt-get. Third assumption is that if software is on your host, it's a bit easier to debug and more performant. Another assumption is that a lot of people don't need container or virtualization type solutions for hacking on MediaWiki core or extensions. And I guess last, that it's not an exercise of futility because we're just working on a hackathon and let's see what we can do in a few days. So this is script, and earlier you saw that it's was showing a status at which software is installed. Then I ran this command to start setting up MediaWiki, which is cloning it. It's going to download MediaWiki, download vector, in more time than we have to present. So I'm going to fast forward because our Wi-Fi is slow. But in the meantime, actually, why don't you talk about the hackathon achievement?
Thank you. Yes, so some of the achievements, 40 commits, 20 merge requests, most of them merged, yeah? We got it working on Debian, Ubuntu, and macOS, supports Apache and built-in PHP server, if you want to use that. Coaster's working on a homebrew formula. We did look at an app package, but we'll get far with that. There's a status command showing the list of software installed, config file, which shows you how to regenerate stuff, and it's set up on GitLab CI for Apache and PHP use cases. That's it, thanks.
Hi everyone. So this is the I had one tool, Bot, which has the front end and the back end. So I wrote this documentation what is the better way to integrate the front end and the back end web app on the tools forge. So the problem was most of the web developer prefers to create or manage back end and the front end separately, separate repository and everything. So it has some advantage since ToolsForge offer one web app development at the same instance, so you don't have much control over the server configuration. So you have to create the two tools. First is the for front end, just generally my tool, and you can create second tool as my tool and some suffix hyphen backend or something, whatever you need. So since the backend and the front end gets different URL, because once you create the tool on the ToolsForge, you will get the URL for that tool. So they will be different. So whenever the front end will make the call to the backend, there will be a cross-origin resource sharing issue. Means with the same most of the browser allow only the same origin request. If you want to make a third API request to third or the other different origin server, so you have to configure this cross-origin resource thing. So this can be done by using some packages, most of the library has the packages to solve this issue, or you can do this by manually by putting some HTTP headers, allow origin star like that. So example the Python has the Flash calls library. You can just install that and resolve this issue. This will work for the most of the browser, but Safari. Safari has this prevent cross-site tracking built in with it. So whenever if your user is using the Safari browser, they will not able to make the call Safari prevent the session cookie to be shared with the different or some other URL. So you can't do you can't ask the users to change their settings in their preference of the browser. So the solution is to make both tools on a same origin. So what you can do is that on your front end you can create a one configuration for a reverse proxy that whenever some suffix will be or some pattern will be called, it will send all the traffic to the backend. So here you can see that the solution is to configure reverse proxy from backend to front end with some suffix mytool.toolsforge.org/API. So /API is the kind of our pattern which will be redirect to internally to your backend. So steps is just deploy front end as it is, whatever you do, and deploy backend, same as the all the steps is written in the wiki tag. So now here the third part is coming, that is the configuration reverse proxy from front end to backend. So first you have to create a one fabricator task to bump up your services +1, because you only allowed one service. By default, you have to be used two services. First is the BAP service, second is the reverse proxy. So here is the just file you need to be create. It just has two URLs that you can use according to you, and just apply this. So this will solve your problem. So at last, I want to thank you to Brian Davis and Arthur for helping me to figure out this problem. Thank you very much.
C. Scott, you just filled out the form. Where are you? Ah, there. you're the last one. After that, we're going to experiment a bit.
I don't have anything fancy to show, but I worked on Keywix is an offline browser for Wikipedia snapshots and a lot of other stuff. It's using an API which is scheduled to be deprecated at the end of the year. We'd hate to lose Keywix. So I worked this week on updating it to use the non-deprecated API. And so if I were to show it off, it would look exactly the same. But it would also look exactly the same next year, which is the important thing.
Okay, thanks. All right, so the next part of the showcase is a new part, and I've decided to name it The Intangible. So I think over the past 7 years or so, when we started the showcase, we wanted to have a tangible outcome and show that to everyone of our hackathons. But Hackathon is not only producing stuff, it is also creating relationships and deepening relationships and getting to know people and forming new alliances, thinking of new plans. These are also outcomes, but they are hard to immediately put value to. And given the fact that we have 2 hours for this session and we've spent about 75 minutes now, I think it would be nice to also spend half an hour on the intangibles that we accomplished. I have deepened the relationships with many of you. I'm fortunate to have met Tara, for example, whom I will try to introduce to someone who works at the Wikimedia Foundation next week in Helsinki. I'm working hard on that. I shared too many beers yesterday evening with about 10 of you, and we do that every time that we have a hackathon or a Wikimedia event, and we share beers from all over the world. I optimized spending drink tickets. Everything to increase the fun, to make memorable moments, right? And so, whomever of you feels inclined to share more of these stories, you have about 1 minute to do that. You can do that like right now. So I wonder, maybe, if you can. No? Okay. So who wants to go next? Yeah. So if you're not comfortable getting recorded, the last 5 minutes are for you. So that will be around, say, quarter past 4. And until then, all of this will also be recorded. Because I consider maybe recording it or not recording it, but I think, so this is also the hackathon, the things, the stories that we will keep telling each other for a long time, right?
Yeah, I think I just want to share one anecdote, something I experienced together with Jack Jan yesterday evening in a taxi cab. I think I already talked to a couple of you. So Jack Jan and I, we shared a cab after we left the TAP meetup, and we went into a cab, and there was some hassle because one of them didn't speak English, so we got into another cab. And then, of course, you get like the traditional, kind of questions. Where are you from? Holland. Oh, I love Holland. I love Holland. And then we're like, where are you here from? Yeah. Wikipedia. Very important. It's information. Information is very important. And then he suddenly asked us, what do you think about globalization? Globalization, is it good or bad? And I was thinking like, okay, it's the middle of the night, and here I am in this cab, and trying to answer this really complicated question about whether globalization is a good or a bad thing. So I just said, okay, that's a pretty complicated question, whether globalization is good or bad. And he just said, globalization is like the life. It is a balance of everything. I think, I think that's kind of the anecdote that I want to share with you. Thank you.
Who wants it?
Okay, I don't know. So on Friday I had uploaded, or a bit before that I had uploaded a patch to MediaWiki core and wanted to get someone's review on it. And they said it was okay to them. And then Kunal, who is on his plane back already, unfortunately, also looked over my shoulder and said, yeah, that MediaWiki patch looks fine. Can you do one thing for me, please? Press the review button. And then he wanted to click the +2 button from my account, except I didn't have +2 rights yet. And then so he asked me if I could please just log back myself for +2 rights in MediaWiki core. So that's now in progress, and that's, unless someone objects, I guess that's how I got +2 rights as a volunteer. Yeah.
So I just want to know that how many other people this happened to this weekend. But I sat next to someone today at lunch. I'd never met them. I had no idea who they were. I learned they worked at the Wikimedia Foundation, so they're a colleague. I learned they were on the growth team. I learned some of what they do. And after the school lunch, an hour goes by. I look at the tag and I'm like, oh, jeez, it's TGRG. So how many here had that same experience this weekend? If you did, you're doing the right thing. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks. I had the same experience as you as well. I thought I'd thank Cbrand for having the session, because I do a lot of conference organizing for the movement, especially Wikimedia, and we're always trying to put our finger on these intangibles to justify these meetups, and we don't have great records of that. So this is really a great thing to have. Thank you for that. The other thing I thought I'd mention is just the importance of ritual in our community. I don't know if you saw, but here at the Hackathon, we officially sunsetted this extension called GW Toolset. I wasn't expecting a cheer or a boo. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but as many of you know, this is an extension before OAuth, right? So that's a challenge to write a mass upload tool without an authentication system per se. So we really appreciate, I mean, there's almost like a pour one out for GW Toolset, but we really appreciate what it was doing, trying to do mass uploads for GLAM institutions in a framework that didn't really have the plumbing to do that. But with modern systems and with modern things that we have, it was just a liability, right? And we had a nice little ceremony, laid our hands on Lego KTM, did each other off eventually. But I thought I'd just mention that these rituals are important. We're actually building stuff, we're also sunsetting stuff. We need to take the time to appreciate the work that folks have done before us.
So mine is, I hope to have something up here to show you all. I've been working on resurrecting the if this then that backend service that actually made the community wish list this year. So I've been trying to fix that. But I didn't get up here because I got to spend time helping a whole bunch of people out here fix little things in ToolForge, and little things in Cloud VPS, and little things here, little things there that is the reason that I come to hackathons. Right? I can write code any day, but there's only a few days when I can sit in rooms with all y'all and help me fix your stuff. That's right.
Hey, so I was one of the volunteers for event photography, and I was about to upload them today. And of course, I didn't want to upload one by one, and I decided to install OpenRefine because my disk computer doesn't have it. And Dennis came and asked about what am I doing, and I said batch upload is possible with OpenRefine, and he was a little bit mesmerized with this news, and we were sitting with Sandra, and he asked that, is this real to Sandra? And Sandra said, yeah, it is real because I worked on that. It was a super badass moment to me, and I wanted to share.
Hi. First, I'd like to mention two people that I was really happy to meet. First is Sabine, who speaks, I hope I pronounced her name She speaks Inari Sami, which is spoken by less than 1,000 people, but this language is surprisingly active on Wikipedia. Together we work to improve the organization of that language, so thank you. I was also really happy with Nikki, with whom I spoke a lot through Telegram and Fabricator and emails, but finally we met in real life and also fixed a couple of bugs together. And one last thing, I kind of knew it before I came to Greece for the first time, but there are so many Greek words that are really important to what we do, and I would like to read a few of these words for you, with your kind permission. Anonymous. It came to English from Greek. Anonymous, architecture, authenticate, category, character, electronic, encyclopedia, glossary, graphic, history, lexeme, logic, parameter, semantic, and syntax. Thank you.
That's the linguist in our community. He needs to work on his balance.
Hi, I'm Dennis. I work as a consultant at the Institute Archive right now, and I just want to thank you all for having me here. And it's my first Wikimedia event ever, so thank you. And I'm very pleased for all the inclusion and kind help and collaborative environment here. And also I want to thank all the organizers and wonderful food. I'm just overwhelmed with how wonderful this was. I mean, to participate. Thank you very much.
Hi, I just want to thank all of you in the name of Kichwa community because we are aiming with our group, our team, WikiAndes, to try to bring in the wiki projects to the Andes, and I think you just made our life easier because you developed several tools and made it easy for us to show them to the people, to our community, and we learned so much things here now, and that we would like to implement in the future and use, like gamification or language translation, tools that can help us to improve also the learning process of the communities. So really thanks for that, and thanks for taking us here.
Hello everyone. So I started working on Wikipedia about 8 years ago, but I increased a lot my participation in the movement, especially in Wikidata during the pandemic. That means that most people that I know were no people for me, they were just like lines of names. And then especially when you go in the tech world, everything's just lines and text, and you have code, and it's all very dry and sterile if you look at it. But when I come to an event like this, I see that it's just the opposite. Behind all this code, all this dry words, there's a lot of soul, a lot of heart poured in, and this is really good to see that all these names are three-dimensional people that have their passions, and they're doing this out of, I don't know, out of many reasons, but they are all together in doing this, and we are all together doing this, and this is just fantastic, so I just want to share that.
I'm Timo, username Brinkle. I just wanted to do a shout out to Phaidon for finally getting a patch merge that I wrote, I think, 5 years ago, to help us transition the IRC feed for recent changes to be based on JSON. So thank you for that.
I just wanted to highlight two things I found this weekend. One is local connections. I was surprised how many people here from the UK. We don't know each other, so some people living quite next to each other, kind of down the road almost, haven't met, so I think it's good to see connections like that. Also in Sao Paulo, there's foundation staff there and volunteers there who I've never met before. So that kind of connection I think is really important. And I hope something you take home and talk more kind of locally as well. The other thing is, so I'm now on the board of trustees for the foundation, so we kind of chatting to everyone and trying to see whether everyone's happy and with where things are going in general. I just wanted to check the kind of temperature of the room. Is everyone kind of happy with how this event has gone? How Wikimedia is going? Yeah? Let's see. Thank you.
Just a shout out, Yanis and I, we worked a bit on the maps reliability, and just a shout out to Alexandros and Giuseppe for helping us iterate, reiterate, and reiterate to finally come to a solution. We'll have to iterate again, but it was good. Thank you. Cheers.
So you won't get this opportunity again, ever, if we decide that this is a bad part of our showcase, or if it's a good one until like next year. So, yeah, all done. Well, then, yeah, come on.
Hello. Yeah, I'd just like to say a thanks to, following on with the intangibles, the invisibles, the people who made all this happen, people who've kind of made sure everyone's safe, made sure everyone's fed, made sure people walk back together and coordinated everything. I'd just like to thank you all, even though I don't know all the names, very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, with this we end the showcase recording at least, so if we can shut that down. And can you please confirm when it's done?